Has Dr. King's dream been realized? Are we still a work in progress? Or is it time for new dreams and aspirations?
There's always improvement that needs to be done, that needs to be taken care of. For me, I look at it that his dream in reference to, we've had a black president. We've had somebody that's been able to lead this nation into doing good things, and also giving kids of color like myself hope. I'm a business owner. I own my business. I come from a family that sharecroppers in North Carolina, from Bethel, North Carolina. I've seen hogs, I've seen chickens getting slaughtered, I've seen all of that. So for me to be the first in my family that has been able to own a business, and not only own a business, but I'm also an educator. I'm an OJT instructor. So not only can I instruct, but I can put people in position to do what I do. So I understand my influence on social media. I understand what I portray to the younger generation, because they're watching you. They watch you. They're watching what you're doing. They're watching how you do it, and they're watching what you do. So I'm just even for this opportunity right here. They moved the game from the game to the game is supposed to be tomorrow, and they moved it to today. But I wanted to make it my business to make sure that I was here to come. This is the first time I've ever been asked to be on a panel. So to see people out here that come and want to listen to me speak, I know God is working in my life. Because if you know what's going on inside of me right now, like they say, if you know what's really going on. So I'm just thankful that God just allowed me to come up here today and to speak, and hopefully something that I said goes a long way with the youth and with the people now that's in this room right now. Thank you.
I think that yes, we have made progress as it relates to Dr. King's dream, and just like Jabari said, there's always room for improvement. There's still a lot more work to do. Jabari, as myself, as long as Jabari and maybe some others here, who currently have our own businesses, back in that time, that was never even thought of. So the progression is there, and with us moving forward with things such as this, events, I would like to see more youth involved here in these type discussions, because in all honesty, it's for them. It's for us to educate them, but if they're not here to get the education, to get the knowledge, how does that help them? How does that help our community?
Right.
Because we can only take them so far.
Right.
So for us to sit here and listen to, for you guys to listen to what we have to say and what we have, the knowledge that we have to share, it's up to you guys to go home and actually take that knowledge to them. Whereas I think it's better that they get the firsthand knowledge and be present, so that they're here, they can ask questions, they can educate themselves without having that, a lot of time, communication as you pass it along, of course, it can be misconstrued, it can get kind of messed up. It's not going to start from here, and when it gets to the end, it's not going to be portrayed the same. It's not going to be repeated the same way. So the next time we have such an event, as this, I would love to see more of our students, and actually some of my students were going to be here from our organization. However, our game was actually moved up today at 4:30 in Columbia versus 6:30. So they weren't able to make it. So a part of my organization is actually getting those students to be involved in the community, to be more active, to be better educated. So I think that, we have made progress, but I think that, as it relates to our youth, that we definitely have a long way to go.
Right.
So Brothers Incorporated, I appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to many more events to come, and thank you guys for coming out, taking time out of your day to come and talk with us.
I think that Dr. King's dream is a working document. It's not something that's finite or definitive to say, once we've reached this, that is it.
Right.
today should be a reminder for all of us of this dream. Because in closing of his message, he said that he wanted his children to be judged on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. The man that is now the leader of the free world was put back in place because of the color of his skin and not the content of his character. So the dream is definitely still alive, but it's up to us to make sure we continue to make progress on that dream. Right. Yes, we see now, since Dr. King's assassination, yes, we've seen more blacks in leadership, more blacks with degrees, more blacks with home ownership. But that dream is just that. It's a dream. Until all of us have those things, it will always just be a dream. And we cannot stop making progress on those things until it's realized by every single one of us. And it can't just be the black community. We are stronger together. And I know people like to put us in silos and say, oh, that's a black issue or this is a rural issue. But we have to be a people together, because if one of us struggle, all of us going to struggle. Right. And so, yes, the dream has been realized. Yes, we're still working towards achieving that dream. But we also always have to have new dreams and aspirations to go on to that. Right. Because as time goes on, things change. Yeah. And we have to update the dream, if you will.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
So I agree that as far as when it comes to the dream being realized, I think, again, that just goes back to actually knowing his dream. And when he talked about his 4 children, I have 4 children, and like I've been a chocolate girl growing up in the 90s. So even as it pertains to just being a darker, I had a light-skinned sister with hazel eyes. My mother and father birthed a year before me, so it was very interesting growing up. Just in the 90s as it pertains to just my skin color being different from the person who stayed in the same home as me, right? And so for my children, it's always been imperative for me to let them know, like Dr. Martin Luther King told his 4, to be judged based on the content of the character. So I believe that dream, absolutely, it has been realized. My children attend Alice Stroud Middle School, who are here today, and they have friends of different nationalities, and they're able to coexist, and it's all peace and love, right? But as it pertains to, are we still working towards that dream? It is a continual thing. I think one of the biggest things that I learned as an adult, not in school, about Dr. Martin Luther King's dream is that later he did realize that this whole thing about equality and economic equality, that is something that we still have to work on. That is still something that needs to happen within our government, within our community, within our city. And so, yes, it is time for new dreams and aspirations. I believe that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So my children and those who I come in contact with, I want to inspire them as well, to let them know that you are able to achieve whatever it is that you put your mind to, whatever it is that you desire to do in this world. So yes, that is time for new dreams and aspirations, but we also have to be advised of the real true history of what the things that he taught and the things that he said before he left this world, to know what has been realized and what is not. So that's my view on that.
Okay, I agree that Dr. King's dream has been met and still more to come, but Jason and also got a dream team, so the dream is here. So what I think is we all dream. Dr. Martin Luther King wanted all us to dream, and we can dream whatever we want. And what he wanted us to do is just dream the best thing for your family and for yourself. And if we can continue just finding the best way of setting standards and finding the best thing that we need for our life, just dream. Because right now, I told you, these kids are up now. It's reality for these kids. They didn't stop dreaming. So we have to bring the dream back to them and let them know that your reality is not your reality. You can dream bigger. If I wouldn't have dreamed, I would have still been on Southside, just doing the things I was doing. but I was able to dream. I was able to dream big, and being able to say that I want to even dream even bigger. So each time we need to continue waking up and create more dreams for our life and for our kids. I have 2 daughters. One is 17 and 19. One is in college at USC. The other one is wanting to be an actress. So they have their dream. I tell them that they can dream whatever they want. And so that's there, and everybody have a dream. So everybody need to think big, and thank you for having the dream team. Thank y'all.
I feel it's a continued work. Much greatness has came from the civil rights movement and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but it's more work to do, and we always have to stay working. Even for myself, I feel like out of mind is double workshop. So for me, I try to stay busy. I try to do things that are productive. So I feel like we need to keep working, keep figuring out how we can better our community, better the youth, and action. That's my word I want to lead with. Action. How can we implement action? We're talking, that's great, but what's next? What's the action we want to take? Because it takes action. We can talk all day, and that's cool, that's great. We got great ideas and all that good stuff, but what's next after this? What are we going to immediately implement after we leave here today and go back to our respective lives? Action.
I want to thank y'all so much. Like I said, the goal is just to spark a conversation that will lead to other conversations. These group of individuals who we call the dream team have their own dreams and their own aspirations, and they're carving out their own lanes. And ultimately, what they're doing is making Sumter a safer city, a better city. Whether they know it or not, they promote progression in the work that they do. Not just for young people, but for even your peers. I know for myself, I'm proud of all the work that you guys do. And we hope that 2025 is a great year for you. Brothers Incorporated is always here. We put an emphasis on the incorporated part. So if there's anything that we could do to help your cause, individually or collectively, just let us know. We're only a call away. Being black in America has always been a serious thing. And fortunately, we've been blessed to know some pretty serious people that come right here from our own hometown. And now we get into the portion where we get to pay respect to some people that have helped to pave the way for us. And it's only right that we start with and this not my, it's just the way that it happened, so don't charge me for it. But we are honoring one woman and 5 men. So next year we'll do 5 men and 5 women and 1 man. But this year, it's only right that we start with the woman that we are honoring this year. And I know there are a lot of people from Pinewood in here. A lot of people from Pinewood. And long before the world had Michelle Obama, Pinewood had Miss Daisy Moore. Anybody that's from Pinewood, especially Pinewood, could tell you that Miss Moore has embodied grace and elegance, but she has also dedicated her life to service. I don't know of any other magistrate judges other than Miss Daisy Moore. And I stopped by her house with the invitation, and she happily accepted. And I think I interfered with her Sunday dinner, but she had she had her children there, and she had a son-in-law there, and they welcomed me in her home for just a quick conversation. But since I've been a little boy, she's always been just the perfect example of what a woman looks like, and what a woman should be. And we are so happy that she accepted the invitation to be honored by Brothers Incorporated on today. So we're going to ask that Miss Daisy Moore, and I know she's got some kids here. And this is the part where everybody can take their phones out and take pictures. But we're going to ask that y'all come to the front for us for just a moment and receive your plaque. And we'll read it. It says, Brothers Incorporated, in recognition of your dedication, leadership, and years of service to the Sumter community, Miss Daisy Moore, Dr. Martin Luther King Day, January 20th, 2025. Thank you. I'm pretty sure, if you're a member of Jehovah Baptist Church, raise your hand. Jehovah, that's half the church. 75%. I guess, Pat, I'm 41. And Pastor Newton's been the pastor at Jehovah for 41 years. 42 years. So all of my life, Pastor Newton's been the pastor at Jehovah. And especially over the past few years, we've seen the growth. We see the new church that takes up a whole city block. Just a little side note. One of my mom's oldest friends is here, Miss Karen Jackson, and she's looking at me really funny. Karen Jackson Nelson, and she is Pastor Newton's assistant at the church, and she helped me get the invitation to Pastor Newton. I didn't have to bother her that much. But Pastor Newton, you have spiritually guided generations of people here in Sumter. And I hope you don't mind me sharing this. David sent me a message, and he said that he was happy to be a part of this. Not so much for the conversation, but he had the opportunity to honor you. Your work, and to be honest with you, I pass you most mornings. I pass you a lot of mornings. And you leave, I know what time you leave home. I normally pass Reverend Newton at the corner of North Yin Yard and Wise Drive. He doesn't ever see me, but I see him most. But we appreciate all of the years of service that you've rendered to Sumter. And as a spiritual leader, as a minister of the Word of Christ, we know that you've impacted many individuals, many families, but more importantly, you've impacted the city and the community of Sumter County. And I know that your daughter's back there, and if she could join you up front, we'll present you with your plaque.
Where's my daughter? I want you to join me.
You look good.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jehovah, for showing up.
Mr. Billy Shaw. The class of 2001 at Lakeport remembers Billy Shaw.
Yes, sir. Come on, Bill.
As a substitute teacher.
This ain't the word you need to be introduction. Let's move.
And he'd have all kind of poems and all kind of sayings for how he would send you to ISS. But more importantly, we want to recognize you for the work that you've done in the Sumter community. Mr. Shaw, long-standing president of the NAACP, and we know that the NAACP actually has something going on right now. But the fact that you showed up to be here with us means more than we could ever describe to you in words.
Well, I appreciate that. That's the real me.
Can I have it right up there?
I got to watch this fella here. Now, you know, to be involved with NAACP or any organization that calls for our rights, you got to be tough. So I'm trying to warn him on one way here. But I really appreciate your concern, and this is not a single award. This comes from involvement of our group of NAACP people and our membership. So this is not only for Billy Shaw. It comes for what we stand for, and it's good to be recognized. But the fact is, this is a ship for all of us. Thank you so much.
Mr. Ted Wilson isn't able to attend, so we're going to ask his long-standing friend, Mr. Anderson Thomas, to come and receive his plaque. And of course, you all know Ted as Mr. Wilson as the insurance man. But we are recognizing him for the opportunities that he has provided to so many to become insurance professionals, to become business owners. Mr. Wilson has a network of insurance agents, and they all make a whole bunch of money. But he is proof that one man can change outlooks for others. And just with his years of service to the Sumter community, he has been able to make an absolute impact on the lives of so many, just outside of helping to prepare for, you know, the preparation of death, other than, you know, outside of that, but he's impacted a whole lot of lives. And so we present this to Mr. Anderson Thomas or Mr. Ted Wilson. And Mr. Anderson Thomas is an outstanding individual as well.
We want you to recognize this church family.
Oh, absolutely. Mr. Thomas has pointed out something that I need to correct. Mrs. Moore's church family is here, the Antioch church family. So we're going to ask that they raise their hands so that they can see this. So all the Adamses are here. You want you to see and her pastor
And wife.
and her pastor and the first lady of Antioch are here. We don't want to leave out Mr. Dwight Moore, Esquire, and his sister. We appreciate y'all being here. We also want to recognize Neo Construction. Mr. Josh Neal, who has passed away some years ago. But when a brick home was a luxury for a black family, Mr. Neal worked to provide a little piece of the American dream to black families. I've got a cousin. I'm going to ask him to stand up, Mr. John Earl Walker. And I'm asking him to stand up because he worked for Mr. Neal. So So outside of the opportunity to own a home, Mr. Neal worked and provided opportunities to become skilled workers. And that's one thing that we have discussed here. But it's important to have a skill even in 2025. Mr. Carmack has left. You know, the barbershop is an institution in the black neighborhood. It's important, it's imperative. So anything that you can do with your hands, if you could do it with your hands in 1979, you can still do it in 2029. And it's still a means to make a living for yourself and for your family. So we appreciate Mr. Neal, and I know his son is actually traveling back from Chicago, but we'll make sure that they receive that plaque. But we would feel less than if we didn't recognize Mr. Neal and Neal Construction for the work that they have done over the years. Now, I'll also say this, before Mr. Neal passed, my house was probably one of the last 5 or 6 houses that he built. And so I have even more reason to be very thankful for Mr. Neal and the work that he's provided. And cousin Scotty built the cabinets for me. I think we got one more. His name actually comes first in the alphabet, but because this is kind of his home, we figure we recognize him last. But definitely not least. And so I posted something about him last week on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it or not. But if there was an intersection for business, Christianity, politics, and social responsibility, you'd probably find Reverend Dr. Ralph W. Cannon.
All right, brother. All right, brother. On time.
So, when I worked at that insurance company, and Kay Patterson would come in and Mr. Gilbert would say, hey, this is Jason Johnson. He's a kid from Sumter, he's in college. Mr. Kay Patterson would say, hey, I know, I got a good friend down there. His name's Ralph Kennedy. Do you know him? So actually, I do know him. He's a good man. Or Isaac Williams, or McKinley Washington, or all these other figures that I would see on a daily basis. And of course, and all these people are definitely influential black figures in South Carolina civil rights. But they all spoke extremely highly of Dr. Cannon. We are so appreciative of the honorees and the work that they have done over the span of their lifetimes. And before we go, and I know I've been talking and standing up most of this thing, but we're going to give everybody an opportunity to say something before we close out. So if it's anything that Brandon, Richard, or Cedric, yeah, go. Okay.
Like Jason said, we would like to thank everybody for coming out, all the panelists, everybody in the audience, all the honorees, and just moving forward, just be able to take something from this meeting and spread it throughout your community, and we will have future events coming up in the soon. Again, thank everybody for joining and helping out in the mission, build a strong community day by day.
I'll also say this, Brothers Incorporated has launched a scholarship fund that's dedicated to the memory of Mr. Tylee Craft, college football player that passed away from stage 4 lung cancer last year. So we launched this scholarship fund with the hopes of continuing his legacy here in Sumter. He's a really dynamic young man, and Sumter has definitely lost a jewel and a treasure in Tylee. So we launched that scholarship fund. If there's anyone that wants to make contributions, you can contact me. It's all tax free. You can write it off on your taxes and all that good stuff, but it definitely goes to support a good cause. We're in the final stages. We actually made an announcement for an all-star high school basketball game that we're going to be sponsoring, but there was a conflict in the calendar. So we're back to the drawing board, but we have a date in mind, but we haven't locked it in. But this high school basketball game, we're going to be bringing high school players from Sumter and surrounding areas, hopefully to a gymnasium. I can't say the name right now because it's not locked in place. A gymnasium here in Sumter County for hopefully what will be an amazing experience as well. So you can definitely look out for announcements about the particular date that we go with. But once again, we do appreciate everybody being here. Your attendance is it means more to us than you know. To the panelists, continue to do good work. To the honorees, we appreciate the work that you have dedicated your lives to. That pretty much concludes it. Everybody speak to somebody that you don't know before you leave. Make a friend.